Mooncat. Tonight, we're going to be doing a stream. Now, it's a bit of a clickbait title, I suppose, in a way. Like NHS sort of compares vegans to homeless people, but it was actually said in what we're going to discuss. So that's why we're going to be talking about it. I'm not going to be alone tonight, though. I have somebody with me. You may all know him from his own channel and all the good work he does all over the internet. It is Grumpy Vegan Grandad. He's here. There he is. There he is.
Calm down. Calm down. Calm down, everybody.
All right.
Easy
Come on now. Come on, everyone. Stop clapping. It's not.
you know something?
Grumpy Vegan Grandad coming to you live from the Vegan Mooncat. Whoa. There you go. Just for you, Dan.
I can't cope with you for another hour.
No, I know. It's. I'll calm down. I'll calm down. I've gone.
Toby Gosling says you two need to get a room. Listen, mate. He couldn't afford me. He could not afford me. Honestly.
Oh, a rich little princeling like Dan. I can't afford his kind of prices. It's too much indeed.
Rich. When you look out that window, it's like bleeding Beirut out there, my friend. There's burning cars and everything. So.
Oh dear. It's like we'll get the tiny violin out. It's.
Oh look, right. I've got a mug that doesn't leak. Have you noticed? It's not leaking.
All right. Okay. I mean, did you have a mug that leaked, Dan? You know, it's. Did you?
Yeah, it was a vegan Mooncat mug.
So I think it's taking a while for the chat to come up on the actual stream. Can you see Cherie, other people in on the tubes? All right, we're only got Toby so far this evening. So we're hopefully people will just get notified and the other people will turn up. But what have you just had for tea, Dan?
I've just had a pucker mince and onion pie. Vegan, of course.
Oh, okay.
It was amazing, as you saw. They do a chicken and mushroom one, and they're amazing. They're amazing, mate. I could quite happily give it to any meat eater, and they would not know the difference. They're getting really, really clever now. Pucker pies has been out quite a while now. The pucker pies, I've seen them quite a lot, but the vegan version, I think it's over the last 12 months they've popped up, and yeah, they're amazing, mate. They're amazing.
Yeah, I don't think we've had any, but yeah, Toby's saying we only need him. But well, let's hope some people turn up. But if not, we've got the crew.
We've got the replay. I mean, it's. I mean, people must be getting sick of me now. I was on last night, and then I'm on tonight, and it's like, it's just one of them. But yeah. Oh, two of my favorite vegans.
Hey, Garuda, you all right there? So I thought we were getting lonely then, but Garuda's in the house and Toby, so we'll get... Anyway. So what we're going to do is an anonymous source. I won't name the source, who works for the NHS. Has passed some information to me about some of the training materials that they use when training their staff, i.e., nurses and midwives, etc. When they're about dietary requirements, etc. for expectant women. We know women are going to have babies. She's hey, the vegan metalhead, are you all right? So yeah, obviously that's something that's very important. You think, yeah, definitely you need to make sure that midwives can offer really sound nutritional advice to make sure that the mothers are getting exactly what they need. So yeah, I thought, well, that's ace. I thought I'll have a read of that, and oh my goodness, it was, in my opinion, shocking. So you'll have to see what you think, Dan. Obviously, I'm not a trained nutritionalist or anything else, but by the sound of some of these slides, I don't think they were either. To be fair. So yeah, we'll have a look at some of these slides from the NHS, and we'll go through them. I've cut down quite a few of them because some of them were just like irrelevant and unnecessary, and we just basically waffle about things that aren't related to this sort of thing that we're talking about. But there's still a good 25 slides, so we'll have a look, and I'll just get some in there for reference as well.
So that's what this is about, is it?
Yes.
Right. Because I'll just let everybody know. Mooncat kept it quiet what we were talking about. I've no idea what we're talking about. He gave me a little bit of a sort of a roundup about it. Mentioned it was to do with dietary advice and pregnancy and everything. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. But like you said, Mark, you're not a nutritionist, but we don't need to be nutritionists. We can use common sense, and we can use sources that we've got on the internet. So I'm
I think
interested to see what you've got, mate.
I think that's it, and I think the other thing is as well. Many years ago, before the internet, you know, not to say the internet's the be all and end all of
Oh, it
nutritional
is.
advice,
It
but it's got
is.
so much on there, hasn't it? You were sort of relying on those sort of I don't know what you would call them, gatekeepers of medicine, if you will, people with the training for any kind of information that you might need, you know, regarding dietary advice or or your health in general.
Well,
But this,
to be honest with you, mate, sorry to interrupt, but I never got any nutritional advice growing up. There
no,
was no,
I said you rely on them, Dan. I never said you'd get it.
yeah, there was nothing there, was there? Where would you, I'm trying to think now, where would you go? Hello, Katia.
Hey, you all right
Katia is
there?
one of my top members on my channel.
Yeah, she's always good to me as well. She's a good one for sure.
Yeah, I mean, where would we have gone for advice on nutrition? The library.
Yeah, I mean that's.
What would we have searched out?
I mean, are you allowed to go to the library? I thought you took 5 books out and never took them back, Dan.
Do you know I've got one from 1978 still.
Going to pronounce it. Good evening. Thanks for joining. I'll let Dan pronounce your name.
It is Urum Fanatica.
Hey, he's done good there. He's done good.
Fanatica. It sounds like a bit of a sort of Germany sort of sound, that, hasn't it? Like Uber.
So let's have a look at the anyway, some of the presentation. So this is the NHS, what they teach their staff members and dealing with dietary advice with pregnant expecting mothers. So let's have a look at one of them. We'll add in there. So eating for a healthy pregnancy is the first slide, and we'll just go through some of the background slides just to see the sort of things that they were sort of going through on here. So they're on about the first 1,000 days, of a child's life, perhaps, including the pregnancy and up to its like second birthday. So, I mean, I didn't go throughout all the slides. It would have took hours and hours and hours, but I picked out a few. So yeah, that's generally what the whole principle is. And this is their sort of consequences of poor nutrition. So they're all already in the presentation, sort of building the scene up about, what they're teaching. And, if you've got poor nutrition, you can have a low birth weight, a preterm birth, a short-term health risks such as hearing impairments, delays in neural development, inadequate stores of micronutrients, and other long-term risks like diabetes, hypertension, when the baby comes to adulthood. So they really are making sure that the staff members who are going to be taught all this really know the seriousness of the subject. Do you think, Dan?
Turn your mic back on, Dan, for God's sake.
Got you, Dan.
Yes, you got me. Yeah, I'm just looking through it, and so let me get this straight. So this is referring to the mother, what she gives to the child through breastfeeding. So we're assuming that children are going to be naturally breastfed.
The risks to the child if the mother doesn't eat correctly.
During pregnancy?
During pregnancy, yeah.
Got you. Right, okay.
And sort of what could, when the baby is actually born, sort of what the nutritional deficiencies could then, moving forward, while it's growing up, could have long-term consequences for the inadequate nutrition during the pregnancy. So this is generally what they're talking about here.
Do you know, I learned something interesting
all right,
about this as well, and people might be able to put me right if I'm wrong, but I saw it on TV. And I soak up a lot of useless stuff that is not very useful to me. But yeah, so they were talking about why humans have the child too early, right? So a human child is born too. Oh, we're back. A human child is born too early, right? So compared with certain animals are born, they're able to walk, they're fit, they're ready to go. So why do
you get up quickly?
Why do humans have the babies prematurely? Now, the original idea was it's the size of the hip bones and the aperture where the baby comes out. If it goes beyond 9 months, then you wouldn't get the baby out. But it's nothing to do with that. It's about the mother can't produce enough energy to keep the baby alive after 9 months.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah, and I found that amazing. So, and it does make sense, because if something is sapping all your energy,
Yeah.
over a 9-month period, you're going to get to a point where the offset is like the baby's sapping all your energy and you won't be able to survive. So yeah, I found that really interesting. So
No,
yeah,
yeah, that definitely makes. I mean, I do know, you know, that it, that you know, you know, when a woman is pregnant, because obviously I've got 4 kids and I've been there with Sheree when they've given her different advice, etc. You know, that a lot of the time, yeah, poor nutrition. Not only can it be poor, obviously for the baby, but it's obviously very poor for the mother, because any sort of deficiencies that they may have had before pregnancy, and I think I've got this right, would be sort of like even more so when they're pregnant, because of the amount of nutrition involved in actually growing the baby and taking so much away from the mother, that if you do have poor nutrition, it's really going to come to the surface when when a little baby inside you is growing and zapping so much from you.
yeah, I mean that. There we go. This is what I mean. For some of the stuff we talk about, we all talk about. It's common sense. It doesn't need. You don't need to be an expert in the field. It's common sense. So that baby is going to need every single nutrient that the mother needs. So you're
Yeah.
going to take a little bit of the mother's nutrients, every single vitamin, mineral, and I think do ladies, women get they say their appetite goes up. You know,
It can do, but
they eat for
I don't think
two, and
I don't think you're supposed to go up as much as some women do. Even though I can't blame them, you know. Yeah, it's an extra 200 calories a day, or something, that you're supposed to consume to sort of get the baby into its final sort of you know, until it's born. I believe 2 to 3. I think it's around 200 to 300 calories
that
extra per
makes
day.
sense. Yeah, yeah,
You know,
because a human full grown woman is around about 2,000 calories a day.
yeah.
So that does make sense.
Let's have a look at the next slide then. So, so eating healthy guidelines in pregnancy. Pregnant women require slightly higher amounts of some nutrients. So you're talking like energy, obviously, like you were saying, Dan. They need more calories, you know, to obviously to grow a baby. Protein, obviously, vitamin A, B, and C. Now they're saying it's unlikely to be lacking from a normal balanced diet. But they say a normal balanced diet, but I know so many people who just don't eat fruit, you know, and obviously you know, and don't really like the veggies. So where they're getting vitamin C from, etc., you know, from a predominantly animal based diet, you know, I'm not sure, but I suppose if you do have a diet containing fruits and veggies, then you know that's not going to be
Mm.
nutrients of
I
concern.
mean,
But
there's a lot of vitamin
whether or not they
C
have it.
a lot of vitamin C in red peppers. Uh,
Oh yeah, 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 for
Red bell
sure.
peppers. The red bell peppers are the equivalent of an orange in vitamin C, which I never knew.
Yeah,
So there is a lot of sort of nice stuff. And when I say nice stuff, I'm talking about sprouts and cabbage and stuff like that. That's bitter
yeah.
tasting, but red bell peppers are pretty sweet, and I don't know many people who don't like red bell peppers. So
Mhm.
you know, but yeah, you're not going to get vitamin C from meat.
No,
That's
yeah,
one
yeah.
definite thing that you
Yeah,
won't get
that's
from
definitely
meat.
not coming from any animal products
Yeah,
particularly.
because
Is there any comments you need to pin, Sheree?
carnivores make their own vitamin C.
Yeah, exactly. Humans don't make their own vitamin
No,
C.
they
They
don't.
need to ingest it, you know, from their food. Otherwise, you know, they get scurvy and all sorts of other disgusting things. But didn't that happen to that singer? What was that singer?
Oh yeah, the guy.
Oh, I can't remember his name now.
He was
Sings "You're Beautiful" or whatever, doesn't he, or
you're
something like that?
beautiful. Yeah. Let me see if I can Google.
Go on, yeah. I remember he decided that he should give up
James
metal.
Blunt.
Yeah,
James
James
Blunt.
Blunt. Yeah,
Yeah, so he was anti-vegan. He was laughing at thanks Toby. He was laughing at vegans, saying I'm just going to eat a meat diet, and then he ended up with scurvy,
exactly.
which is what they used to get on ships because they used to have dried meats and stuff like that, no vitamins, and
Yeah.
they found out the cure was lemons, putting lemons on the ship,
Oh,
taking
okay,
them with
yeah,
them.
yeah.
So
I mean, so far, you know, they're pointing out, you know, making it quite clear that you know that a woman needs to really get these essential nutrients in and to pay special care to them to make sure that they get them all in. And they're pointing this, and there's no disagreement from me. You know, I can see why you know that all this needs to be pointed out. You know, to make sure you know that the mother and the child grow as healthily as possible. You know, during pregnancy and after. So yeah, I mean, I get that 100%. So here we get onto the healthy, balanced diet slide, which shows everything that you should be eating, really. So you got your fruits and veggies, which is always good. You bread, rice, pasta, potatoes. All your starches there. So I'm quite happy with that. And then you've got obviously the meat, the fish, the eggs, and the beans. So
Why
you've got
the
so you got the beans on there, which I was happy that they put the beans on there, and didn't just go for meat, fish, and eggs. So that made me feel a little bit better. And obviously, they've also put and other non-dairy sources of protein. So I don't agree with the meat needing to be on there or the fish or the eggs, but I was glad that they put that on there. And then they're obviously saying these processed foods with high sugar and etc. And high fat that you need to minimize them to as close to nothing as possible. So I mean, apart from the meat, fish, and eggs, which we can get into in a minute, I can understand the plate. What do you think, Dan?
Yeah, it's your misconstrued total sort of bullshit. This is a balanced diet because we live in a sick society, and the whole country's been brainwashed into believing that this is a healthy, um, balanced diet. Now, have you noticed that fruits and vegetables, bread, rice, potatoes, pasta are practically 2/3 of the plate?
Yeah, I mean that's one good thing about this little diagram. What I didn't like though at the top, well, apart from obviously as a vegan, I don't agree that, and the stuff that I've read about dietary wise, I don't believe the meat, fish, and eggs need to be in there. But also it says a healthy, balanced diet if all groups are included. So they're already stating there that all these groups have to be included, which
Milk
is a
and
bit.
dairy foods.
So milk and dairy has to be included, otherwise it cannot
Why?
be so a healthy diet. So I mean, I know this is mild in the grand scheme of things so far.
Well, it's not mild. How can you call this
Oh
mild?
no,
How can you?
mild compared to a lot of the press that's out there. At least they've still got like the beans and the high percentage of fruits and vegetables. It's not like we're not going down like keto diets here, or we're not going down carnivore. At least they've got some of the good stuff in there. Is what I mean, Dan.
Yeah, I mean, I get that, but I still find it infuriating that.
It is, and you
Uh,
would think, that people who are in charge of telling a mother what's healthy for their child, would have a high degree
who's
of knowledge.
who's written this?
I
Who's
can't say it,
so
it but it's standard training material for nurses and midwives in
right?
the
So
NHS.
so where's the alternative one?
There is no. This is it. I mean, they've got a token. And I believe during the person who gave this to me and other people within their sort of training group challenged a lot of this during the actual presentation and
Wow,
was shot down ceremoniously, and
they were
basically
shot down
said
for challenging it.
challenging the fact that
They were
that
shot down
all
for
these groups
challenge. Yeah.
that that all these groups have to be included. I mean, they've even said if all these groups are included, but they've put the high fat sugar group still in there. They've not said that minus that group, have they? Which is strange because you don't need
So
any of that purple group. I mean, that purple group's completely pointless.
so what's food and drinks high in fat and sugar? We're talking about Coca-Cola and Mars bars here.
I think that's generally it. Processed junk is what that,
So
but
right,
that has to
okay,
be included then.
but right. So this is a healthy, balanced diet for women who are pregnant.
Yeah, and they've
This
included
isn't
junk
this.
food,
I mean, I can understand the sugar, right? I can understand a bit of sugar because it gives you energy.
but you can
So
get that from fresh fruits though and stuff.
of
So
course you can. But I mean, yeah,
but it's a strange one really because
why eggs? Why eggs?
it, it,
Even
it
I could right. All right, I could understand. I'm getting
they say in a bit why eggs are on there. They do say in a bit, Dan. Should we
right.
move on to the
Okay,
next slide?
I'm preceding everything, but I mean, let me just say
You,
one
you've
thing.
always got stuff running around your head at like light
Oh
speed.
man, it's like boom. But right, if they'd have left fish on there, I could have understood it. Right, I could have slightly understood it because it is still a sort of it's a hit and miss one with the omegas. Right, I do understand that because
I get you. I get you.
it's not common knowledge in the UK about omegas, and everybody assumes I'll have my fish oil tablets and
Yeah,
it's great for brain health. They did do a study a while ago, and this I remember something being on TV about how well kids will do with omega and fish oil. It's amazing for your brain. So I would have accepted fish being left on there.
Yeah,
But as
yeah.
for meats, eggs, and foods drink in high fat and sugar, it's like, what? And
Yeah,
and
why are
dirty.
they even on there? I mean, if the whole point of this slide is to show what a healthy, balanced,
Where's the water?
nutritional,
Where's the water?
well,
In milk and dairy foods. Why haven't they put
they've
like
not put it on
water?
there. I can't remember whether they do mention hydration later on, but we'll have a look. We'll have a look. Let's have a look. So, and then they break it down. So, nutrients provided by each food group. So, you're in this one here. So, you got starchy foods, which are important in B vitamins, fiber. Yeah, use wholemeal as much as possible. So, I have absolutely
Cool.
no argument about that.
Perfect.
That seems perfectly fine for me. And then they move on to the veggies, fruits and vegetables, important for vitamins A, C, fiber. Aim for at least 5 a day. But what? So so they put all that in there. Yeah, I agree with that. Do you, Dan? You know that they've got all a load of micronutrients that
Where are the nuts and
everybody needs.
seeds? Where are the nuts and
No,
seeds?
they haven't put those in there. I can't remember they're on the other section. Let's have a look. Let's have a look at the next slide. Milk and cheese and yogurt, important sources of calcium and iodine.
Oh man.
A pregnant woman must have 2 to 3 portions per day as part of a healthy diet.
Right. Okay.
So now
Right.
we're starting to get into it a bit more, you know.
I'm going to ask a question now to the audience, if you don't mind.
Yeah,
Right.
ask them away, and
Just
sure you don't forget to pop any questions up if anyone's asking anything.
Right. People out there who are listening now, right? Where do you get your iodine? Now, it isn't a test. It isn't. I don't want you to go away and Google. I want you to tell me as quickly as possible, right, where you get your iodine from. Let's see how educated we are, because I didn't know this. I had to research it myself. So tell me, where do you get your iodine from, people? Okay,
Toby's saying NHS don't read the science when it comes to nutrition. They still feed people that have heart attacks and strokes processed foods and meat. Yeah, it's true. It's true. Yeah, I can never wait, who made this? This is not a well-balanced site. No, this is the NHS, the National Health Service in England, Garuda, or at least somebody who works for them. I'm not entirely sure of. I know the source, but I can't say. Urine
Fanatica. Urine Fanatica.
Fanatica, yeah. Salt, but yes. Only if the salt
iodized.
Is iodized salt, not salt in itself. But then again, I believe the US has added iodized salt to, there's a lot of iodine in salt now, because obviously a lot of Americans and the world really was iodine deficient.
Yeah.
But the problem is when you add it to salt is not a health food. Salt is bad for you in many, many ways. You get all the salt you actually need from your day-to-day foods, that you eat. You don't need additional
salt.
I know it's tasty though, isn't it? It's tasty.
On a baked potato, you got to have a bit of salt on a baked potato.
I get you there. I get you. But it's not a health food. But because so many people consume it, that they've added it in there. But then people are smashing the salt on, thinking, "Oh yeah, I'm okay. I've got all this salt and it's iodized or whatever, so I'm getting all my iodine in there." But then they're getting high blood pressure and all the other side effects from having so much salt in the diet, which is never good. So let's see, seaweed, Toby, that's a great source of iodine for sure. Enriched salt, Kat has said, so that's true. Irish sea moss, all right.
Yes,
never had that one. Never had that.
You can order that online. It's supposed to be really good for you.
And Toby's saying iodine is only in milk because of the products they use to clean. Well, but yeah, that's partially true, I believe, as well.
Well, it's not. It also, Toby, they also smear it over the teats before they milk them, because it's.
But they do get onto iodine in a moment. So should we come back to it? Do you reckon?
Yeah, we'll come back to that. Yeah, definitely.
Let's have a look at the next one anyway. And then on this one, you've got meat, fish, eggs, nuts, pulses. Important for you are right. They haven't mentioned nuts and seeds. Nuts.
Yeah, they have mentioned,
but not seeds. But
yeah,
maybe,
I think seeds come into that family.
Yeah, I think they're all in the sort of same category. Yeah, so good sources of iron and zinc. Yeah, so at least they've included those alternative sources on there. The other sources such as meat, fish, and eggs aren't required. But he's off, people. Do you want to pin a few comments, Cherie? What is the most iodine of the seaweeds? Dulse, I think Dulce is quite good, and there's Dan's got his sea kelp there. Now so I actually take the same one, Dan. There,
yeah. So that is actually 150 milligrams of iodine, but there is a thing about iodine. I was taking 2 or 3 of these a day, and then I realized you can overdose on them.
You can overdose. You got it. The 150 is perfect. but you don't want to go more. You don't want to go
No.
more.
Last time I had about 5, I was running around with my underpants on my head, smashing all the neighbours' windows. Yeah, I was off my head on sea kelp. Honestly.
All right, he's on Seeker. Let's go to the next one. And then foods high in fat. That is your answer. Food high in fat and sugar, no useful nutrients, save for special occasions only. So, I don't know.
What, like a day ending in Y? That's just giving a green light to people to have pizza and
you shouldn't even be on. These should be foods that are never eaten. These shouldn't be on the plate, in my opinion. And I know everyone eats them. Sweets and chocolate and whatever, but they shouldn't be on this. There's no place for it on an NHS healthy eating plate.
And what do people do in naturally? Human nature. I mean, like I when I was really sort of dieting down, I'd have a cheat day, but then my cheat day went to cheat weekend and then cheat 3 days, and then it ended up a 7-day cheat day. So it's like people make excuses.
I constantly struggle with weight eating, but I mean, this is the most stable I've been, since I went vegan, even though I've still got a lot of weight to lose. But if I start eating like a Pringle, the tub's gonna go. I can't stop.
Do you know what? It's
weird.
You
can't pop. Once you pop, you can't stop. It's true.
It's weird. I'm the complete opposite to you, Mark. I have to remind myself to eat. I've got now back to my old sort of eating habits.
Yeah.
When I was young, I was really slim. Didn't have much fat on me at all. Had a 6-pack naturally, and I'm pretty much back down to that now. And
that's cool.
I've got to remind myself to eat now. It's just that.
Yeah, my lad William's like that. You have to constantly remind him. You got to eat something. You got to eat something. You got to eat something.
But I have stopped. I have stopped eating because it's a time of day. I have started eating when I'm hungry, not because of time of day.
I was going to say, Garuda, I think you are right. Sugar is why so many, people in the
world. No, it's not.
But it's not the only problem.
No, I mean,
it definitely is an excess of calories. Can cause obesity for sure. No. And if you drink it, well, it's partially. Come on, Dan, it's partially.
Not even. Partially.
So you're saying somebody who drinks 3 liters of full sugar Coke?
That's an extreme. But
no, it's not. Though.
Sugar isn't the demon. I'll tell you what the demon is.
No, but if you're just talking about obesity, I mean,
obesity. Right. Okay. Right. I'm going to argue this one out with you now, right? Back in the 70s, one fat kid in my school, right? Our sweets were exactly the same, if not bigger. Our sweets were half the price that they are now, right? We had the same amount of sweets, the same amount of chocolate, biscuits.
Did you have the same amount? Because
yeah. We used to have half-p sweets. I used to be able to buy, for 10p, I could buy 20 massive sweets and stuff like that. But my point is, Mike. Right,
go on, carry on. Sorry, Dan.
Because I'm on a train of thought, and if you put me off, I'm gone.
Yeah, I don't want to throw you off it.
So fast forward to like the late 80s, right?
Okay.
McDonald's came, Indian food came, right? Burger King came. All these fast food joints came, and fat makes you fat. Stop it. Fat makes you fat. And what's the increase in obesity in all Western worlds is due to fast food.
I completely agree with you there that fat makes you fat, obviously, and all these animal products contain a hell of a lot of it, obviously. What I'm saying is I wasn't completely agreeing with Garuda that sugar is the only problem, but if somebody's eating a high fat meal and then down it with 1,000 calories of a big gulpy drink, then that's not going to help either. So, but it's not the only problem.
I think with the kids, it is fast food with the kids because high sugar, sort of ingesting lots of sugary drinks and Coke and all that stuff. It takes a while for it to manifest, But when you're young, eating lots of fast food and junk food constantly, that's what's caused the kids.
And I think the other thing is as well. When I was a kid, I don't want to get the violin, but we were quite poor, I believe. And my dad, when he used to get like a Mars bar, for instance, sometimes he'd cut it into 3.
My dad did that.
He'd cut it into 3 pieces.
My dad did that, Mark. Yeah, my dad did that.
Maybe it was a 70s thing. I don't know. Yeah. But nowadays, you go into a shop, they've got like these like triples, triple bounties. So, or you know, grab bags, which are like much bigger, or family size packs. And I see when I was a kid, you know, you'd eat a packet of crisps. It was like you know, you'd be there for 2 minutes and it'd be gone unless you were savoring it. But now people, I see kids walking around in the streets and they've got family size bags of crisps to themselves. So you know, I think the size, the portions of these foods, because everything's you know, I don't know, the economies of scale. They produce them in so much thing. Everyone's got greedy for this processed food. And to be fair, I don't think we were as hungry as a kid because my mum always used to fill us up on like you know, like a big curry or you know, whatever. So you know, it wasn't as much room to cram all this crap in. Maybe I don't know. But
I'm not saying saturated fat makes you fat. I'm saying that fat makes you fat. Fatty
yeah,
foods, the high
saturated
calorie,
fat.
the low
Saturated fat will give
density.
you heart attacks.
Yeah, the low density, you know, high calorie foods. You know, I could have a big bag of sweet potatoes and only consume 600 calories, whereas a chicken breast and a slice of bacon would be like 1,000 calories. It's like
Exactly.
you're not filling your stomach, but you're having an absolute shitload of calories.
I mean, I haven't got that diagram up now, but there's always a good diagram where it shows you like a human stomach and how much sort of like room some processed oil takes up, how much some animal flesh takes up, and how much a belly full of veggies take. You know, of all say 500 calories each, and the you know the amount of difference of what goes in your stomach for those different food groups. I mean, your stomach's full of veggies, and like there's a fraction of it's fraction full with the animal products for the same calorie density. So yeah, it makes sense.
I mean, with the amount of food by volume that I eat, I should be doubling your size, Mark. I should be like 30, 40 stone, me now. The amount
Yeah,
of food I eat, but it's not high calorie food.
yeah,
Anyway,
I
we
get
better
you.
move on because time's
Yeah,
slipping by, isn't it?
we'll go on there. So we're talking key nutrients during pregnancy. You know, folate, vitamin D, iron, calcium, iodine, and omega-3. So yeah, it's good to point out that they need to be careful of all these things. I don't think they need to pitch your eggs there personally. And look, I mean, look there, you've got like some kind of like cereal. You know, it's probably fortified, possibly. But you know, it's again, we're supposed to be teaching healthy
Why
habits
not
here,
show
and you know.
porridge or something if a
Yeah,
cereal?
exactly. Get a
Instead,
bowl of oats, you know,
yeah.
with some berries and some other things on top. Makes no sense. But yeah, so here we go. Anyway, iron and calcium. So no additional requirements for pregnancy according to this. However, some women may have a poor intake of these key nutrients, regardless of the pregnancy. So before they got pregnant, they may have had a low intake of iron and calcium anyway. So you know, and then the people that are possibly in that category are strict vegetarians and vegans,
What?
teenagers, poor diet, and refugees and
And
asylum
asylum
seekers.
seekers.
This is the bit that got me, Dan. So immediately they're painting, you know, vegans. We'll leave vegetarians alone for now, but yeah, but you know, vegans in with refugees, asylum seekers, and you know, and teenagers. I don't know what that means, but you know, it seems a strange way of wording it.
Why would asylum seekers have a poor diet? What? I'm an asylum seeker. I want to eat Coca-Cola on Mars bar because it is a sign of the free West.
I don't understand that sort of like they're putting you into such a category there, you know, with refugees and asylum seekers who have come from a very malnourished.
Oh, hold on a minute, I've saw something out though. Look,
oh, have you? Have I missed something here?
Yeah, poor diet. You know what that refers to? Meat eaters. There you go. So meat eaters are below us. Yeah, that's what a poor diet is.
I mean, most teenagers that aren't vegan that I know are eating McDonald's and you know KFC and pizza and junk. So what are we saying? You know, that even though they're full of dairy and meat, they're still in the risk category. It doesn't. That just so wound me up when I saw that. You know, it really did. What's Toby yawning out there? The info on saturated fat coming out says saturated fat literally cannot make you fat. No one's saying it makes you fat.
No one's saying it's fat. We're talking about the calories.
Fat makes
in
you
meat.
fat.
Fat makes fat.
But what it does do is contribute to heart disease and can kill you before your time. So I think that's the main thing about it. So yeah, it really wound me up that they've put them in such a a category. I mean, to be fair, I don't know why teenagers have to go in there, as such a risk category. But obviously maybe they've got their statistics, but I don't think they've got any statistics about vegans here. I think this is just put in there for
Garuda, I don't care. Garuda, I don't care. Meat eaters are not the only ones with a poor diet. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. I don't care.
He's just going to say that now because it's just the way it is. So let's have a look anyway. So here we go. A 200 ml glass of milk provides 41% of your recommended iodine intake. Now, Dan, look very closely at who that slide, who the picture that the person, look who it's from. Can you see in the bottom corner?
No, it's a bit small for me on this
For anyone
screen,
who
mate.
can't see that, it's the Dairy Council.
Oh, wow.
So
Well, it must be true.
So these are a bunch of farmers that are all banded together to promote the benefits of milk and dairy and or whatever, and that's the picture and the statistic that was used in this educational slide for NHS staff. It's just what?
So it's just like saying one McDonald's burger gives you 41% of your recommended iodine intake. This is by Ronald McDonald. And like, yeah, sure. Oh my God.
Yeah. So this is for any. I'm just going to point out this is for any sort of NHS staff. So this is NHS professionals. So this training could be given to a doctor, a nurse, a midwife. This is basically for any NHS professional. This is what this is for. So yeah. Now, what I was going to bring up, and I'll see if I can see what they don't say here though, and it only takes a quick search on PubMed and other reputable sort of like things on the internet. You'll find out that they're saying it. There is no way that they can say that it definitely does 41% of your recommended iodine intake, because the amount of iodine in milk varies depending on the feed that is given to the cattle. So if the cows are given a low iodine feed, their iodine is going to be lower, and if they're giving a higher iodine supplement in the feed, then it's going to be higher. So there's no way of them saying that. It all depends on the origin of the country of origin of the milk, the manufacturer, or sorry, the slave trader, and it all depends what they feed their animals. So there's no way of.
So there isn't iodine in grass.
Not that I'm aware of. No,
right.
Not
so
in
there's
grass.
no idea. So even right. Ask me the question, Mark. What did we do before we started all this animal agricultural industry? What did our prehistoric ancestors get their iodine from? Ask me that question.
Where did our prehistoric ancestors get their iodine from, Dan?
Well, it's funny you should ask me that, Mark.
It's been playing on my mind.
Article.
Have you got it? I can pop it on screen.
I'm going to share screen.
All right, I'll unshare that one for a minute, and I'll pop this up, Dan. Give me a second.
So they've looked at bonobos, and they get their iodine from swampy plants.
Really? Water plants, sea plants.
Like water lilies. Ancient humans might have as well. So what it's saying is, with the rainforests of Salonga National Park in the heart of the Democratic Republic of Congo, bonobos wade through swamps. The slender 3.5-foot tall apes are searching for rushes and white water lilies. They pluck the herbs from the water and then discard the flowers and leaves. The bonobos are after the soft pith. That's piss with a lisp, with a soft pith at the base of the leaves, another part of the plants that grow underwater.
I suppose there may have been iodine in some sort of sort of plants, maybe even grass. Like Toby says, there might be iodine in the soil, and you might get trace amounts of that going over to there. So you might get some in there, but nowhere enough to 100% be sure that we're getting enough iodine from dairy if you were to drink it. So yeah, but it's very interesting what you're saying there about the prehistoric there.
Yeah, I mean, this is what we've got to do. This is why I said at the beginning of the stream, you can knock that off now, Matt. This is why I said at the beginning of the stream, is like you don't need to be a nutritional expert for some aspects of how we live. You've just got to look at common sense and look at how we used to live. I mean, it's like the old hunter thing when they talk about, hunter-gatherers. People have in their heads of these, we go and get masses of meat and we're on meat every day. We weren't. We were taking cereals from tree barks, and you've only got to watch David Attenborough to see them pounding the seeds and making breads and all sorts that we've been doing for thousands and thousands of years. So yeah, it's a lot of it's common sense.
Tristan speaks sense. Animal flesh is carcinogenic. That's definitely a thing, especially the more processed forms, which a lot of people eat, such as bacon and deli meats, etc. So yeah, that is fact. And as you can see in the little elliptical sort of shape down there, Dan, eggs and sea fish, even though I'm not sure there's any land fish, but maybe I'm wrong, are other valuable sources of iodine in the diet.
Yeah,
So
eggs and sea
don't
fish.
don't get me wrong. There's iodine in these things. They're absolutely right. I mean, it also comes with saturated fat, cholesterol, trans fats, or a load of other stuff. With excessive amounts of choline. Even though I know there's some debate about that, but choline and loads of other stuff in there which you wouldn't really want in your body. Never, not to mention obviously the ethical. To mention the ethical. Implications of getting them from these sources as well is anyone with a conscience just not a viable source, is it?
I just want to address what Shuri said. She said that not being fat doesn't mean you're healthy. No, it doesn't. You're quite correct on that. And when I was training and trying to get my weight down to 8%, my BMI to 8%, my total fat, I stopped because it's not healthy. Once you get your body fat down to a certain percentage, below a certain percentage, single figures, it messes with your hormones. So you should always have a layer of fat around your midriff, always. So yeah, just because you are skinny does not automatically mean that you are healthy. However,
No,
if you are overweight, you will be unhealthy. It does come
excessive
with
weight's
risk.
not good.
It's not good
Excessive
either way.
weight's not good for you. But don't just assume because you are slim and you don't carry a lot of weight that you're somehow
you're
like
healthy.
a
No,
healthy individual.
not at all. Not at all. Because
I've known people in my my long life who have looked healthy on the outside and have had heart attacks and been taken in for strokes. I've got cancers, and all sorts of other things.
Yeah, I
It's
mean, a
not
lot of comments I get, Mark, are like, "You don't look healthy." Nothing to do with like being on this planet for 54 years.
I was going to say, Dan, it's nothing to do that you're like 54 and I'm 49. It's not like we're getting older or anything, is it?
No, not at all.
It's just insane. But let's have a look. Carry on then, Dan, if it's all right with you.
Yeah,
Let's have a look at this one. So, vegans, high risk of iodine deficiency. Dairy-free milks could increase risk of iodine deficiency. Milk alternative drinks and plant-based milks from soy, almond, etc., oats and rice. These milks contain low levels of iodine. And that's not a lie. That's not a lie, to be honest, Dan. And iodine, and if you're just relying on them for your iodine, then you can become deficient. People who drink milk alternatives should consume other dietary iodine sources, probably trying to insinuate, obviously, fish, eggs, etc. Now, they're not lying there. Unless it's supplemented with iodine in that particular plant milk and it's high, but it can be quite irregular and not always a great source of it. But why does your iodine source have to come from a milk-like substance anyway?
Well, to be honest with you, it just so happens you're saying that, Mark, but I was looking at a lot of the new plant-based milks now are fortifying with iodine. So they're very quick to jump on. They're very quick to jump on.
Previously, maybe 5 years ago, maybe and whatever, when they didn't add it, but they are adding it more and more, as you say. But they're not but a white milky shade liquid isn't the only place you get it from. I mean, they're just assuming that if you can't, you've got to get it from a vegan alternative. It has to be a vegan milk, which is absolute nonsense because that's not the only sources. I'll see if I've got any sort of. No, I don't think it was on here. Let me have a look. No, that wasn't it. But yeah, so let's go back to this slide. So yeah, it's not the only source of iodine. You can get iodine from seaweed. So if you've got like nori sheets or dulse or all these other things, or radical idea, because you can't sort of guarantee the levels in dulse, and you can't guarantee that in seaweed generally. They can be variable. You might get a little bit, you might get a lot. You can't really guarantee the levels of iodine in dairy products either. So that's another thing. You know what you can guarantee iodine levels in, Dan?
Go on.
A supplement.
Yeah, a supplement.
It's such an essential nutrient, and it's so variable in the foods that we, whether or not it's animal-based or vegan, to be fair, then maybe just suggest the supplement as the main option.
I just don't like it, Mark, at all, I don't like this slide that says vegans equal high risk of iodine deficiency.
This is
They don't say taking your kids to fast food restaurants, high risk of heart attack, stroke, Alzheimer's, cancer. They don't do that, do they?
no.
You know, it pisses me off, Mark. It really pisses me off.
It seems a really strange slide, and it's so not. And the thing is, most of the vegan, and I'm not saying all the time, but a lot of the vegans I know are actually more on it. They look more into the dietary requirements a lot of the time.
Because of the shit we get from everybody. Oh, you're going to be everybody becomes a nutritionist.
So you're aware of a lot of the time you're aware of where iodine comes from, as vegan sources, and you look into it. Your general Joe Blogs on the street probably doesn't have much of a clue even about that they need iodine. They don't care. A lot of people don't eat, say they're not eating fish, they're not that fussed for eggs. Where are they getting it from? Are they not at high risk? I just think it's like
where do all the non-dairy drinking countries get their iodine from?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean,
it's not like Japan and stuff like that. Yeah,
China,
China, Japan.
They're not high dairy consumers, and
what about all the people who are the 75% of the population of the world that are dairy intolerant? Where are they getting their iodine from? Mostly black people are dairy intolerant.
A
high percentage of them, a high percentage of Asian people. When I say Asian, I mean Pakistani, Indian, Bangladeshi. So where do they get all their iodine from? It's like
and I'd just like to reiterate the fact that this is information given to NHS healthcare professionals. This is for the people that are in charge of generally giving you advice about how you can be healthy during your life generally, and in this case, pregnancy. When you're growing another child, you're growing a baby.
Do you know what's frightening about all this, Mark? Right. Is in the 5 years that I've been vegan, 5.5 years, he coughs. The 5.5 years I've been vegan, I've looked at all sorts of studies and lots of nutrition and lots of articles about nutrition and diet and listened to like Hench Herbivore and all these other Mike the Vegan, right? So basically, I have looked at over, I'd say, 3-4 weeks worth of information, right? A doctor only gets a day's worth of nutrition and diet training in any US, England, Canada. It doesn't matter where. They only get. So I am more qualified than a doctor on nutrition, and that's a frightening fact.
It is. I mean, the alternative vegan saying, how does iodine get into the milk now? So, you're probably going to get some iodine from the soil going into the grass, and naturally getting into the cow if it's grass fed. But you can't really measure that. It can be variable depending on the soil. So it's also added to animal feed. But obviously that varies from country to country, manufacturer to manufacturer. So there's no way of isolating exactly how much you're going to be getting. Certainly not the 41% they said earlier. You can't narrow it. You can't say that with any degree
and a lot of the iodine comes from, like I said before, is they smear teats with it because it's an antiseptic, antibacterial. So they smear the teats with iodine.
Yeah, and I think it's also like Toby said before, they clean out the tanks with it as well. So because there's obviously it's a substance that's quite prone to all sorts of things. We won't go into it, but so anyway, so I thought this was a very, and you know what makes me really mad as well? I mean, I don't know if anyone or you, Dan, as well, is aware of this, but say in midwifery, for instance, it's all sort of like mother, sort of like patient-led sort of care. So you go with what the mother wants to do. If she wants to go in a birthing pool, if she wants a home birth, if she wants to have a birth in the hospital, if she wants to, have like this, that, whatever, doesn't want anesthetic, doesn't want a cesarean, wants a cesarean. It's all, a lot of the time led by, that's the whole ethos behind it. But if you're already going in after this training and you've got a preconceived idea that the lady you're looking after is going to be at risk through her dietary choices, and you're really concerned for them because they're caring people, for the most part, they want the best for the people they're looking after and the baby that's growing. They're going to have they may then try to push say a vegan mother not to be vegan during the pregnancy and eat these other sources because that's what they've been told has to be done for the baby to be healthy.
And it's wrong because some mothers can be quite vulnerable when they've had a baby, mentally, physically. So, I mean, a vegan mother could be quite easily influenced. And I know a lot of people who, shall I mention the JV again? Even the John Venuses of the world have
Oh
sort of
yeah, I
like,
get yeah.
have sort
Man
of
Baby Venus. Go
worry
watch my
over
Man Baby Venus videos.
the worry over your child. It's like, all right, I'm a vegan, but what if it goes through your mind? It's like you lose rationality when it comes to your kids, and anything
Yeah.
that can make you scared. Oh, if you don't give your kids eggs, they're going to be deficient in this and this and this, and then they're not going to do well at school, and they're going to get picked on, and they're not going to have a job, and then they're going to die at 50. It's like,
Exactly.
whoa.
I mean, if you've all, I mean, there's the point. Obviously, pregnancy can be a risky business anyway, you know. And then you've got women that you're dealing with who maybe have had previous difficulties, or you know, have maybe lost a child before during pregnancy. So they're going to be especially impressionable about what they need to do to make sure that this baby goes full term and you know can be as healthy as possible. You know, and they may push you know this information on them because they genuinely think it's the best way forward for them, and you know and there's so many other alternatives and other ways that they can do it which will be healthier in the long run anyway, because you know there's studies out there that say you know saturated fat, cholesterol, and all these things that cause heart attacks in adults and you know puts down atherosclerosis in the arteries starts in the womb. You know it starts with the baby while before it's even born, you know, so
Yeah, well, they
that's
are
a risk.
discovering, yeah, they are discovering children with fatty streaks in their arteries already at a very
Yeah.
early age, and
So
it's not
that's not,
cool.
but vegans are a high risk of iodine deficiency.
Bullshit.
Doesn't matter about all the other stuff, does it? In other places you can get it. So the other one, obviously, is omega-3 fatty acids. Again, very essential. I'm not going to argue. They need to make sure that the patients they're looking after have these in. So DHA and EPA are important brain and neurological development for the fetus. Pregnant women are advised to eat 1 or 2 portions of oily fish per week, i.e., e.g., salmon, trout, mackerel, sardines, herring. Pregnant women with low levels of omega, you know, etc., are not good, and we're at 10 times more likely to experience a premature birth. So I'm not arguing that you know that you need omega-3 for these reasons, but it's the source that bothers me
I
the
mean,
most.
come on, Mike. Salmon, right? So 80% of the salmon we eat in this country is farmed.
Mm,
They've got diseases. They've even got like you know when you paint your walls and you've got a color chart of different colors, they can even pick which pink their salmon goes because they don't go naturally pink. So they pick which dye they throw into the water for these fish to eat so that they go that color. It's just like it's, oh man.
well, I put the slides in a bit of a wrong order. Let me just see if I can find the other one for you quickly. Give me a second. No, here we go. So yeah, so we're talking like the iodine deficiency. Main dietary sources are sea fish, not landfish, and cow's milk. Vegans are at high risk of deficiency. Plant sources may be unreliable, so a supplement will be needed, i.e., Veg1 from the Vegan Society. Seaweed and supplements made up from seaweed are not suitable in pregnancy due to the high risk of contamination.
Why
Now,
do they tell pregnant women not to eat tuna?
yeah, I know. Let's bring this one in, Dan. Let me just take that one slide
Wow.
off a minute and bring this one up. So yeah, they are right. You know, in seaweed you can get or you know inorganic arsenic, lead, cadmium, mercury. In fish you can get lead, cadmium, mercury, trace metals, dioxins, microplastics, pesticides, sat fat, trans fat, cholesterol, and not only that. I mean, the fish that have been fished out of the ocean, what do you think they've been eating? The little fish. They've been eating seaweed. So they've eaten seaweed, and then they've been eaten by another fish, and then another fish, another fish. So it's back. So the actual contaminants in there, in the fish, in the salmon, in the tuna, are biomagnified. So if you do have these trace elements in the seaweed, um, then you're going to have much more of the same problem in the actual fish themselves because of biomagnification. I mean, it doesn't take much to sort of read about that. You know, why is that on there? Why is that? Why is that not on there? It just amazes me, Dan. What do you think of that?
It is. I mean, if they found out that dog poop had loads of iodine in or whatever, would they be telling us all to eat like dog poop? It's ridiculous. And again, the food is just a vehicle for nutrients to get into your body. It doesn't matter how they get into your body. This bullshit about saying, "Oh, you can't, seaweed won't do the thing." You probably have to. Why? Where are they getting the data from?
So and on the other slide as well, they did say that even a vegan sort of like like supplement like we take, Dan, the sea kelp, they're saying that, are they not aware that these companies test for contaminants? As long as you get a decent quality sort of kelp supplement, for your iodine, etc., they test for multiple contaminants and make sure that the levels are within sort of like
Yeah.
level, that's acceptable to the human body. No one's testing your fish that they're pulled out of the ocean.
No,
No
not
one's
at all.
testing
No.
at the contaminant level, and that's fine. So it's utter rubbish. And how they can do it is absolutely beyond me, Dan, to be fair.
Nori sheets, you can get it from Nori sheet. Oh,
Yeah,
man,
nori sheets again.
Sea vegetables.
But every single source of iodine, as I say, can be quite variable. Nori sheets, the vegan versions, and obviously animal flesh, etc., and eggs. So if you're really concerned about it, especially during pregnancy, in my opinion, and I'm no expert, and obviously anything that you're listening to, if you're really worried, go ask your doctor. Not always going to say you'll get the best advice, but do your own research. It's up to yourself.
Yeah, do your own research, Garuda Legends. The mercury thing is a myth. Oh, really? Okay, so the experts
no, not the mercury, the mercy thing. It's like there's no mercy in Garuda's for all your food choices. I think no, I'm kidding. But there we go. No, but it's right. There is no mercy. So let's have a look here, Dan. So the other one is B12, obviously.
Do we have to do this?
Yeah, we'll
we
breeze
don't need
through
to
a few of them.
We don't.
I know you can't be on late, Dan, so we'll go through a few.
I'm not bothered about being on late. I'm just ill with B12.
Oh, I know the B12 thing. It just drives us bonkers,
we all know
doesn't
about
it?
B12. Everybody on here knows about B12.
So needed for fetal and nervous system, only found in animal foods. Only found in animal foods. Dan, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Why is there B12 in animal foods?
Because
in animal products?
Because they get feed and they put B12 into the food and then they give it to the cow. You're just eating secondhand B12. They found a weed called duckweed, and duckweed is the only plant that has B12 naturally.
All these people out there.
All these
people out there saying, "Oh, your animal flesh and your dairy, it's all got B12 in, and it's the only source for it." It's only in there because like Dan says, they supplement the animals in their feed with B12. My recommendation for everyone on the planet, and the recommendation of all reputable nutritional science, is everyone should be supplementing B12. To get an adequate supply, because it's so important to the body. Don't rely on anything. Just take it. We used to get it from drinking muddy water. It's a microbe that lives in the dirt and water. But we're not going to go drinking out of muddy puddles.
Water, yeah.
So
I do actually. I still do drink out of.
Well, that's why you keep getting cholera. But yeah, so yeah, we all know about B12. This is utter nonsense. Everyone in the entire world should be taking a supplement, vegan or non-vegan. It's just the truth. So they can. So this one really annoys me as well, Dan. There's a program called the UK Healthy Start Scheme. So it's available to all pregnant women who are in receipt of certain benefits, and they can basically they can get vitamin supplements and vouchers to buy milks, fruit, and vegetables, which is absolutely fantastic. That they're making sure that these people have the correct sort of vitamin D, vitamin C, folate pills, and they're not having to sort of like pay for them. But the vouchers, buy milk, fruit, and veggies. Fruits and veggies, fine with me. But you can't buy plant-based milks on this scheme. You can only buy dairy milk. So even though like soy milk's full of loads of vitamins and minerals and essential things, you can't have that.
Right. So that needs to be addressed, doesn't it?
So again, you're talking vegan women out there now who are pregnant, and obviously if they're in receipt of a certain benefit, they may be in a vulnerable group. Not just because they're vegan, because maybe they're low income or whatever.
This is the free milk in schools thing all over, isn't it? It's all about discrimination, and this discrimination needs to be stopped. So yeah, this needs to be addressed.
So this really wound me up. I mean, stick, especially like you said as well, they're adding a lot more sort of supplementation to a lot of the newer plant milks. You know, a pregnant woman could go out there and get herself a fortified plant milk with loads of good stuff in. Soya milk is already, before fortification, has got loads of good stuff in it, but then you start adding in the supplementation of iodine and B12 and vitamin D. It could be a really healthy option for them, and also supporting you know, their choices. But it's not on there. That's definitely an
How do
issue
you
in my
know?
opinion.
How do you know you don't need to take supplements? Have you? When was the last time you had a blood test? How
Who
do you
said you
know?
don't need to take supplements?
Garuda, I don't need
Yeah,
to take. Yeah, who said you don't
you,
need to take supplements? Where do you get your B12 from? How do you know you're absorbing it? How do you know
and
you're absorbing it? How much
obviously
vitamin D do you get?
with B12, you know, it can take some time for B12 deficiency to show due to the fact you do carry big stores of it. But you know, after a period of time, you know, you can get B12 deficient, Garuda, and you know, I don't wish you any harm. So I'd prefer you to take a B12, yeah, no matter what
Garuda,
you're eating.
do you live in? I know you live in America, but do you live in like a year-round sunny area? Do you live in like Las Vegas or somewhere like that where it's sunny all year round? Because if you don't, in the darker months in winter, you need to be taking vitamin D. I don't know how old you are, but let me know how old you are, because you can get away with it when you're young. But yeah,
As you get older, your body can be a lot less tolerant about, you know, deficiencies and abuse. So,
last
he's in
week when I
Florida.
was donating plasma at clinic, they tested my blood. So what were your LDL scores then? 36. Oh, you're 36. So they say when you get over 40, Garuda, that you don't absorb vitamin B12 as good as you do in your younger days, and that you should take a supplement. But they also, all medical professionals are saying now that everybody
You may get
should.
away with it. You
You
may get
might get
away with
away
it,
with it. You might get away
but
with it.
for the sake of a few pence, why risk it? That's
Florida,
the
yeah.
main.
So Florida, it's pretty sunny. It's the sunshine state. So yeah, you wouldn't need a vitamin D. Come and live over here, and then you may want to do
So
that.
another slide that you'll like, Dan.
Go
Do
on.
you want to read this
Annoy
one
me
out for the
more.
folks?
I was
Oh,
nice and calm
you
before
want to
I
read it
started
out
the
for the
stream.
folks, just so it annoys you even more?
Right. Nutritionally vulnerable women, adolescents, vegetarian and vegan women, refugees, asylum seekers, homeless women, underweight women, overweight women. Right. Okay. So
I'll let you take the lead on that one, Dan.
right. So why are we being sort of, when I said we, I mean vegans in general.
Yeah.
Vegetarians, they can just go and do a running jump as far as I'm concerned with the meat
You know,
eaters.
but while you're
But
saying vegetarians, Dan, one thing I'd like to say is they've already been trying to extol the virtues of dairy, obviously. And if you look at the nutritional profile of milk and cheese, it's not that dissimilar in its makeup to actual flesh. So why are they in a vulnerable group, the
yeah,
vegetarian? They're pretty
exactly.
much.
That's the point. Yeah. I mean, they're missing out on the meat though. That's the thing. You need meat in your diet and
But milk
fish.
is liquid. Milk is pretty much liquid meat in its
It's
nutritional profile.
supposedly,
So,
yeah, of
so
course.
what's going on there then? That seems a bit strange.
And it's like, yeah, it's why again refugees and asylum seekers? Why do they assume that an asylum seeker would not eat a good diet? What?
I, s-
Which
I, I,
countries did they come from?
I suppose they're trying to say that they've come from countries that maybe they've not had good access to, you know, sort of healthcare and decent
Unless it
food
means
and
that
supplementation and
they assume that they won't have a lot of money if they're refugees or asylum seekers. They
possibly,
come here
yeah.
without any money.
So I'll go with the fact that refugees and asylum seekers
And
and you know
homeless
the
women, yeah,
homeless and people with weight issues, underweight or overweight, and maybe even adolescents, you know, to a degree, who aren't monitoring what they eat properly, or maybe have you know. But why in the world is a vegan in there? You know, it's just infuriating. It just doesn't make any sense. I
we
mean, what this is why my thumbnail was like, you know, vegans compared to homeless people because of this slide. You know, it's just so you can basically, Dan. So if you're a vegan woman, you know, you're fairly aware of what you should be eating. You know, and you're eating a fairly balanced vegan plant-based diet. You are still, according to the NHS, just as much a risk as somebody who's homeless and living
and
out of bins, for instance.
God help if you're a skinny adolescent, vegan, asylum seeking homeless person, you are screwed, man.
You're absolutely knackered there. You're absolutely ruined. You're absolutely destroyed. But it's no point. Just give up at that point. You might as well just go, just forget about it. But it's yeah, that was a good one. So yeah, it's absolutely mad. Hey, vegan vlogger, nice to see you in here. Better
late. Yeah, what have you been doing your makeup? Have you been doing your makeup to come on here?
Well,
We can't see
to
you.
be fair,
you know.
anyone who's after makeup advice, don't
She's
forget to
great.
go to the vegan vlogger. She's absolutely amazing.
She's great.
Go and give her a look. It's vegan vlogger on YouTube, vegan vlogger on Instagram, and all the other places probably. So
she looks amazing in some of those. Some of those looks are like wild. It's like, yeah.
Don't forget to watch on catch up. So let's go to the next slide anyway. So so obviously the diet. This is why because I wondered why were they talking about adolescents in a risk group. So I put this in. So they have a poor quality diet according to this slide. Low in milk and dairy products. Wait, how is an adolescent's diet who isn't a vegan low in dairy products? Cheese, sandwiches, pizza, milkshakes. How are they low in dairy? This just goes to show that I think the people who had a part in this slide haven't got a bloody clue what they're talking about. I mean, I think
dairy industry. It's the dairy industry have done all this. I'll tell you, it's the dairy, meat, and egg industry that have written these slides.
I mean, since that slide was from that slide from earlier had material, the 41% stat for iodine, was from the Dairy Council. So I think you might be right about them having a hand in it there, Dan. But high intake of snacks and junk food, never good. I'll give you that. Limited weight gain. I don't know. A lot of teenagers and seem to be getting more obese by the day, to be fair. Sorry, not meaning that as a blanket statement, but it is generally true. It's an epidemic all over the world. And vegetarian vegans, but not replacing meat. So vegan adolescents who don't replace meat. I don't know. It's just a strange statement. And also, a lot of the time that you would think that these were just talking points. The actual people teaching these don't really massively go into depth by what they mean by these statements because they don't know.
So what does it mean by but not replacing meat? But not replacing meat. So they're not having an alternative to
not having a tin of baked beans then. It's just insanity. It really is. It's just another thing, and they're still growing and need to obviously achieve nutritional requirements, etc. Yeah, but I mean, it's just another strange slide from a strange presentation. Here we go. Vegetarian and vegan women who avoid meat in the diet need other good sources of iron and zinc. No problem there. Nuts, pulses, and fortified cereals regularly. Great. Sounds all good to me. Women who avoid milk and dairy need soya, plant fortified with calcium or supplement omega-3 walnut. So this is what I mean. They've spent a load of this presentation basically making us all look like we're rummaging in bins and we're at risk. Sorry. And we can't eat, but then they give us a little bit of light. They go, oh yeah, but you've got these other sources, and then right at the end, plant sources are well less absorbed. So yeah, the slide that look like, oh yes, come on, they're saying it, and then they're saying, well, yeah, these have got it in. You might not get them as much. But what they don't care to say, Dan, is that the body, for instance, we'll pick a nutrient. We'll say iron. The iron, plant sources of iron, dark green leafy vegetables, like kale, sprouts, spinach, all these different things, and it's in loads of other stuff as well. The body can absorb that absolutely fine. And the body actually copes really well with plant-based sources of iron. It can regulate it quite well. And if you're getting up to your tolerable, because you can overdose on iron, and if you're getting up to your tolerable levels of it, the body can actually reject absorption of any more iron from a plant source. So it can manage it really, really well.
Yeah, your body's very clever. I mean, even on the Game Changers. Sorry to interrupt, Matt, but
yeah, carry on.
Even on the Game Changers, they were talking about protein, and protein is made up of 7 amino acids. Yeah, and what happens is if you have a lot of one amino acid, your body stores a little bit, and then once you have the other kinds, it puts them all together to make protein. Your body's very clever. It stores stuff and keeps it there and holds this back and does that back. And you have too much protein, it comes out the other end. And it's very clever. But once you overflow it with stuff like heme iron, which
That's
is
exactly
like,
the point I was going to make, Dan. I mean, I've just said before, obviously, not to interrupt you, but I'll let you go on.
yeah, no, you carry on. I've said what I said.
Is what I was saying. Plant sources of iron are coped with extremely well by the body, and it can absolutely moderate the correct levels. That cannot be said for heme iron in animal products. It's the body doesn't cope with it in the same way. It's much easier to get iron overload, and cause terrible issues. Even like carnivore dieters out there, like Frank Tafano, he was like his heme iron was off the charts because his body couldn't control it, and he's got serious health issues now from iron overload. Serious health issues, and it actually caused him to introduce a lot of plant products into his diet after that because he caused himself so many issues. And that's a guy that said everyone needs to eat exclusively meat and dairy.
Yeah, but
so,
I mean, he wears a tinfoil hat as well, and he sleeps.
No,
in
he's
it,
mad as a box of frogs.
So,
but that's not mad as a box of frogs. It's probably not a good, very vegan saying that, is it? But mad as a box of rocks. Even though I don't think that goes
as bad as a box of frogs. Yeah,
yeah. But it's that's the thing, isn't it? Even your body doesn't regulate heme iron properly, so you can really put yourself with some serious health issues. And the animal sources of it come with all their own drawbacks as well. You don't get a lot of drawbacks from kale, and sprouts. None that I'm aware of. Maybe trumps if you're not used to them. I don't know. But all the animal products, you get a lot of other side effects with saturated fat, cholesterol, heme iron, everything else. So maybe there's a reason why they're slightly less bioavailable, whatever term you want to use, or less well absorbed, because that's what it's meant to be. Just because something's the normal, because everyone eats, you can really get a lot of iron from meat. Maybe you're not meant to have that much iron, people. Come on. Your body doesn't cope with that excessive iron well.
Exactly.
So that's absolutely mad. We're coming up. We've got another 5 slides. As I said, B12 only found in animal products, vegan women, regular intake of 4 or 5 foods or supplement needed. That is one of the, but not just. They should have changed that to all women, all humans, all men, women, children, everybody.
Yeah,
everyone should have had it. Just to demonize, vegans and vegan women specifically, and say that they're the only ones who need it. Absolutely outrageous. Absolutely outrageous.
I agree with that.
So again, iodine deficiencies, because they do go on about this an awful lot. It seems to be a big thing for them. Cherie, every human living in the UK should be taking daily supplements of vitamin D and B12, regardless of their diet. Absolutely spot on. And I think that's main dietary advice from all the important people who give dietary advice. Main dietary sources in the UK: sea fish, not landfish, and cow's milk. I think we read this before, didn't we, Dan? This was the one I skipped forward to, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So, we've gone through that one. I won't go through that one again then. So, refugees and asylum seekers, they have language barriers, poor diet and health for a prolonged period of time because of the environments they come from, probably, especially in fleeing, obviously, conflict and poverty, undiagnosed health problems, high prevalence of iron deficiency. So this is why they're saying refugees are in the same risk group as we vegans. So that's why I left this slide in. So all these different things coming from maybe war zones with no money to eat, undiagnosed health problems, high iron deficiency through poor diet, all these different things. And they put vegans in that category, which again is outrageous.
Totally.
Absolutely outrageous.
Totally.
And again, I left this slide in for the same reason. Homeless women, lack of food, poor quality food, limited access to cooking facilities, reliance on takeaway and convenience food, poor food hygiene, and poor contact with health services. Again, I've left this slide in to show you their reasoning why a homeless woman is at risk, and we're in the same category as this breakdown according to the NHS advice for NHS professionals, nurses, doctors, midwives, etc., etc. So that's why I left that one in. And last of all, Dan, any questions?
Any questions?
I think that left a lot of questions.
A million.
To be fair.
Well, listen, the family is slowly sort of waiting patiently to
that was it, Dan. Really, that we've gone on a little bit longer than we said, but I think to get to the end of the slides was worth it, maybe.
Yeah, definitely, and it's been really interesting. It's like, wow,
yeah,
it's got me really sort of fired up that, and
Yeah,
it's wrong, isn't it? It's misinformation. It is misinformation.
From my little bit of a it's a sneak peek, sneak telling you what it was about. Did you not see quite what
No, I
was
didn't
coming there?
realize it was to that extent, mate.
Not to that extent.
Not that extent. Nowhere near. I can't believe
it's crazy.
how they do this.
No,
Wow.
exactly. So, I mean, Dan and me are going to get off in a minute. If there's any sort of last minute questions that anyone wants to ask or anything that you want to say, if you want to put them in the chat, you're out for another minute or so, Dan, just to see if anyone's got anything.
Yeah.
Just let us know. Have you got any questions you want to pin, Cherie, or anything? So yeah, I think it's been a good chat, a good analysis of these slides, and I think it's very interesting to see what our health professionals are being taught, because we're always saying, like they don't get much nutritional training, but we assume they have some. But this is a glimpse into the small amount of nutritional training that actual health professionals in the healthcare service get. This is it. This is the training they get. So yeah, we always go, oh yeah, they only get like 7 hours or a week's training, and this is the training they actually receive.
I mean, look at the knowledge that yourself and me and the rest of the people on the chat, between us all, we know so much more. It's like, why should we be responsible? And
to be honest, Dan, until we started speaking, I didn't realize how much we knew.
Yeah, exactly. We know quite a lot between us all. It's just unreal. There's only one on here who's totally deluded, and that's Garuda Legend. It's like, Garuda, you're just like off the scale. You've no idea what you're talking about. Some of the stuff you're coming out with, you need educating and research.
The thing is, I think Garuda's a relatively smart guy there. I'm not patronizing you. I actually believe it. And I think if you sort of drop the defenses down a bit and don't feel that you need to be against vegans, because vegans aren't against you personally. No, not really, Dan. Come on. All we want to do is reduce animal suffering, and that's including all non-human animals and humans as well. We don't want suffering in us either. We just want the best for everyone. And if that can be done in a way that we don't cause harm to any of those groups I've just mentioned, then it just makes sense not to.
Apart from vegetarians, of course.
Well, yeah. To be fair, I mean, people that have been vegetarian for a long time, they were at once the vegan of the world. They thought they were doing the best, and it's only now that all the horror stories about the dairy industry that have come out, we know that that's just not the case. So it's time to switch to vegans, vegetarians.
Definitely.
So
listen,
anyway,
mate. Thank you so much for letting me join in on this.
No, thanks, Dan. Let's all give Dan a clap. Yes, give a clap for Dan. Thank you very much, Dan. Vegan Grandad, live on the Vegan Mooncat. Sorry, Dan, I had to do that. Sorry.
Boys and his toys. Boys and his bloody toys.
You got to have a bit of a play, haven't you? Got a bit of a play. I've been learning to cook vegan. I don't hate you all. I believe we should all be friends. Well, that's good. Let's include animals in our friendship circle as well. That's
yeah. Don't murder animals if you want to be our friends.
And then we'll all be friendly together. We'll all be best pals. So I thank everybody who came there. I really appreciate it. If anyone's coming late, don't forget to get catching up on the. I'll leave it on the channel, so go watch it. I think it was a pretty interesting discussion.
Share it out.
Share it out.
People.
So this misinformation is so the good information is out there, not the misinformation. And this isn't a dig at the NHS. I think they do an awesome job. If you're in health difficulties, they're amazing. Through the pandemic and everything else, they've been absolutely fantastic. But it's not the staff's fault that somewhere up the chain they're getting this kind of info, and they need to be given the right stuff. So thanks again, everybody, for coming, and it's absolutely fantastic. And we'll see you guys next time. And don't forget to subscribe to Grumpy Vegan Grandad. And if you're not subscribed to me, do that as well. See you later. Bye.